Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, April 5th, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com over the past week. First up, more fluctuations, more ranking changes again between March 29th and April 1st. Definitely things going on there. It's probably all related to the core update, more tweaks to it. Not exactly sure. People are saying rollbacks, not yada, yada, yada. But there definitely was some chatter and signals that there was an update around then. We posted our, well, I should probably talk about this first. This morning I posted about what seems to be a pretty big Google bug with Google indexing pages and dropping pages out of their index. Google hasn't confirmed anything or said anything yet. But it looks like tons and tons of sites and webmasters are saying, 20%, 50%. Some of their pages are being dropped from Google's index, and thus their traffic and their rankings in Google search have drastically changed. That being said, Google has not responded about that, but there's definitely lots and lots of chatter around this. If you notice that your site has dropped out of the index or part of your site has dropped out of the index, you are not alone. Google hasn't responded in terms of what's going on, but it looks like it's a bug. It does look like it's a bug that's actually impacting your traffic, not just a reporting bug. So we'll keep an eye on it and let you know what's going on. We posted my monthly Google Webmaster Report, and it was a big month. March, or our April report, which is covering all of March, was a very busy month. Obviously, we had the core update on March 12th. Google dropped tons of features from Google Search Console, added a bunch of features to the new Google Search Console. Google told us, they don't support the rel next prev next. The info command went away. And Google's testing new icon-based search results, which we covered last week. We saw lots of unconfirmed as well as confirmed updates on the 29th, on the 26th, on the 20th, on the 5th, etc. Lots of speculation around the core update, our survey results, and so forth, and a lot more things going on. So definitely take a look at that. I summarized the whole entire month, ordering them in most important order, I think, in my opinion at least. So go get that. I posted on April 4th, and you can quickly catch up and see what's going on there fairly quickly. Like I said, Google's testing those icons in the search bar, which we covered last week, but they're also testing images or icons in the actual search results. So a map image icon, another map icon. You can see an images icon, video icon, and top stories icon. So Google's testing all this type of stuff. I believe it's going to roll out eventually. We'll see. But it looks like Google's going to roll that out. We'll keep an eye on it. A lot of more people are seeing that test every single day. Google said due to their speed update, which they announced January 2018 and actually went live, I think, in July 2018. Because of that, Google saw an increase in terms of performance across the web. They saw the slowest sites on the web got 15 to 20% faster. Whereas in 2017, none of that happened. There was actually no performance upgrade, no improvement in site speed across the web. Overall, 95% of countries across the world or countries have made improvements to the speed overall. There's less abandonment rates, so they saw a 20% reduction of people clicking from their search results back to the site, meaning the sites are performing better overall. And the page speed tool is used over 1 billion URLs with over 200 million unique URLs giving feedback for that. So it's pretty interesting. Google's not done, they said. They're going to keep working on it. So that's pretty cool. Google's John Mueller said that Google's link report tool in Google Search Console, if the links are not shown there, then they're generally irrelevant. It's the first time Google actually said. Google said that usually they provide a sample of URLs there. But John Mueller basically said in a Reddit thread that if the URLs are not, or the links are not shown in that report, he said they're pretty irrelevant overall. He said the exception is when you want to go ahead and handle paid links and you got a manual action. Specifically in manual action, you do have to worry about that. But overall, you don't have to worry about links not showing up there because then they're irrelevant. Google Search Console said they have a data change where on April 3rd, you may see a spike in terms of issues reported or errors reported, specifically in the enhancement report. So like the AMP report, the mobile usability report, the products report, the jobs report. those reports in the Google Search Console may see a spike in issues being reported in that report because Google said they're actually surfacing or finding more pages to index and to explore with that report. And with that, you might go ahead and see a spike in the number of issues reported in that tool. Google may close the old Google Search Console by the end of the year. He was supposedly asked that at an XMX Munich, a pre-XMX Munich talk with SEOs. And John Mueller basically kind of hinted that it may, they don't have a date for it, but he's thinking maybe towards the end of the year. But of course that could change. There's no actual date defined for when they're going to close the old Search Console. This is funny. So somebody was complaining in Reddit that a competitor who has a page score of F, like a failure, is outranking their website that does very, very well in terms of page speed. And with that, John Mueller said the nice part of using so many factors for crawling, indexing, and ranking is that you don't have to do everything exactly the same way as all other sites are doing. Meaning, there's lots of factors. Just because you do poorly in one area doesn't mean you'll do poorly in another area. Because of that, you could go ahead and rank very well, even though you're doing poorly in one area. Page speed, in my opinion, is one of those things that are really, really, you have to be really, really slow for it to impact your rankings. Because of that, even if you have a really, really slow site, but you have lots of great links and content, you're relevant, etc., Google's still going to rank you well. Google said that. And that just means Google's algorithms allows SEOs to be unique on a site-by-site basis, because what works for one site in one niche might not work for another site in another niche, etc. So definitely keep that in mind. Google made a JavaScript video specifically on how to make React web apps and web pages search engine friendly. So again, this goes into details. It's like a 7-8 minute video. Really take a look at that if you are using React. And if you're using dynamic rendering, Google's kind of workaround solution for certain types of JavaScript that needs to get indexed fast. Google has a dynamic rendering method which they came out with a year ago or so and introduced a document last October around how to do it. Martin Split from Google says, if you are using it, they want to hear some of your feedback on your client implemented dynamic rendering. His DMs, his direct messages are open on Twitter. Definitely go ahead and take a look at that and submit any feedback to him because Google wants to make things better. Google's may be testing a new user agent. We previously saw a Google user agent called Google Speaker, which Danny Sullivan later on told us that was used for the Google Go feature. To fetch the content. And now Google's testing a new user agent called Google Read Aloud. And it might be related to the same thing. It might be a name change. It might be something different. We asked Google. Hopefully we'll hear back on that as well. John Mueller posted a trick to go ahead and get Google to kind of delist and then relist your website fast. It's basically using the site removal tool in Google Search Console. So let's say you have a site that is not ready to be public in Google's index and you want Google to index it, but yet you want Google to remove it and then quickly get it back in. So let's say you're launching your site on Monday. You can go ahead and go live with it, submit your sitemaps, get it kind of fully indexed quickly, and then say, all right, let's remove it using the site removal request. And then within a couple hours after you cancel that removal request, Google should have that whole site included as well. And John Mueller is basically saying that's a neat trick, is to make the site live and indexable, use the site removal tool to remove it, and then cancel that removal once you want the site to be visible in search. Again, not really a trick, it's a feature, but that's what John Mueller said. Google explained that 301 redirects are not links. Just because you redirect page A to page B, it doesn't mean that that's a link from page A to page B. Although, obviously, any signals, link signals, et cetera, may flow from page A to page B, but it's not considered a link in Google's terms. And then you can go ahead and debate, 302, 301s, et cetera, and how much link juice they pass. Google, again, another whatever type of moment, but Google basically said if a roboted out page, let's say you have a robots.txt file that you've said, I don't want this page indexed. If this page is outranking other pages on your website, then obviously you have some SEO work to do or some other issues. So that's a pretty, basic concept. Google Image Search is testing a new preview type of screen. If you go ahead and take a look at this, we've seen some of this testing last year, but here you can see the previews on the right-hand side, not hovered over. What you usually see is like below the image, it hovers over the image, but this we're seeing on the right-hand side, it actually go ahead and show the preview. And we've seen examples of this before, overlays as well as previews on the right-hand side, but all white. In this case, we're seeing a preview on the right-hand side that has a black user interface, which is, I think, a little bit better than what Google was testing earlier. Google has expanded their AMP stories to the Google Arts and Culture features. So now Google Arts and Culture content will show and can show in the mobile search results as AMP stories. This was announced by Salgar from Google, and he works on a lot of cool little features at Google. If you definitely follow him if you want to see stuff that he's posting. So that's one thing. And also AMP Stories is testing image thumbnails in the actual search result snippets that offer AMP Stories. Here's a screenshot from Ant Network. And you can see here it's like a little thumbnail that shows like an AMP story icon. I guess if you click on that, it would actually load the AMP story. And finally, Google Plus, the community is done. It's dead, although I can still post there for some reason. But Google officially killed it on April 2nd. And with that, everybody's saying goodbye, including the Google Webmaster team, which posted lots of useful information there, but now they're saying follow us on Twitter and the Webmaster blog, et cetera, et cetera. So definitely go ahead and do that, and you will see that information. In any event, thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz Video Recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com over the past week. Again, today is April 5th. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next. Bye.